and welcome to another episode of This Call May Be Recorded. I'm your host, Zach Garside. I'm the head of marketing here at Power Selling Pros. We're the company that gives you personalized CSR and dispatch training. So if you're a CSR or a dispatcher or a call center manager or a business owner, and you're thinking to yourself, our CSRs could get a little bit better. Our call handling team could get to another level. And if we were to do that, it would benefit the business in a big way. Reach out to us, powersellingpros.com. Head over there, get a free training sample of the stuff that we do. In fact, I'll start things off today with a little banner there. Get a free training sample at powersellingpros.com. It'll be well worth your time. Even if you don't buy anything from us, you can still get the training sample and your team will learn a lot. Before we begin today, though, as always, we have a rant of epic proportions. It wouldn't be an episode of This Call May Be Recorded if we didn't start with a rant. And the rant is this: your call handling team will never be perfect. And I don't just mean that in terms of how they sound on the phones. I mean that when it comes to the team itself, to the staffing, to the people who are there. You'll never be 100% sure that you have the perfect team in place and that they're never going to go anywhere. A lot of companies that we talk to, companies who get very excited about the prospect of training their call handlers because look at the low-hanging fruit we could take advantage of here. We're already getting phone calls. If we just got better at taking them, we could increase our booking rates. We could increase company revenue. We could increase the impact the CSRs are having on the business. But then they say, but we're not going to do anything about it because we don't want to make an investment in these people. The group that we have on the phones right now, we don't want to invest in them. We'd rather wait for someone else to join the team. This is classic. It's that classic, what if I invest in my people and they leave mentality? Well, the question, as you've probably heard it posed, is what if you don't and they stay? You see, it's very common for companies to think, we're going to wait 3 months. We're going to give it 90 days. And then we'll have the right team in place. Then I feel confident that we're going to have the right team, the right people on the bus who we can invest in and train. Or 90 days will pass and you'll be in the same boat. That's what happens to most companies. 90 days will pass and nothing will have gotten better. Nobody on your team will have changed. And you'll still be in the same situation you're in now. If you know that there are changes to be made, if you know there's growth that needs to take place, why would you wait? Why would you put it off? And I'm not necessarily saying that you should hire us. Of course, I think it'd be great if you did. What I'm really saying, though, is do something. Do something with your team, even if you don't feel confident that they're the right people, that they're going to be there in 3 months or 6 months. Even if you feel like it's going to be a completely different team, do something to help them grow and get better because A, it will affect the culture of the company, regardless of who's in those spots. It's just how we do things here, some of our clients say. Barker & Sons is a great company that we work with. And for years, Barker & Sons has been working on CSR training, not because the people that were there 6 years ago when we started are still the same people that are there today. In fact, it's largely a very different team. But they took action 6 years ago because that was the culture they wanted to build. They wanted to establish an environment where training, coaching is the norm. That's just how we do things here. Even if we don't know if you're going to work out, even if we don't feel like you're going to be able to make the changes necessary, we still train you. We still coach because that's just how we operate. So that's number one. If you know your team needs to get better, start training them now. Start working with them now. Don't wait until you've got the perfect team. It will never happen. Start now because it's the kind of culture you want to establish. Everybody here gets coaching. Everybody here gets trained regardless regardless of where they are, regardless of how confident we feel in their future, because that's just how we do things. And number two, train them because it may be just what they need to stay. It may be the catalyst that causes them to raise their level of performance and become loyal and stick around for a very long time. We worked with one CSR a couple of years ago at an AirServe franchise. CSR was about to be let go. This CSR was on the edge of being fired. And within a few months of training, the CSR became one of the highest performing call handlers in their region within the AirServe franchises. Because sometimes that's all your people need, is they need that one-on-one attention, that one-on-one help. We've heard endless stories about this in education. Kids who go through school getting bad grades, causing trouble. They're on the fringes, they're on the edges of the system. But then one day, a teacher, one very particular, one special teacher, notices that person and decides it's worth their time and effort to give that person one-on-one attention and help. It's worth the effort to try and help them, even if all signs indicate that this student is unteachable. Those teachers, those heroes, still step in to try and pull them from the edges. And that's all it takes a lot of the time. Those students turn everything around. And when you ask them what led to their success in the future, they point back to that one teacher, that one coach, that one manager, that one boss many years ago that thought it was worth it, that thought they were worth it to invest in them, to teach them, to coach them, to help them improve. They didn't dismiss them like everyone else. They invested in them. So my message to you today, before we start listening to phone calls, is start now. Start small if you have to, but start. Do something to help your team get to the next level of their performance. Even if you don't think, especially if you don't think that they're the right team, that they're going to be there for a long time, because I promise you, if you do not, 90 days will pass, 6 months will pass, a year will pass, and you'll be in the same situation you are today. And the excuses will still be there. The reasons not to take action, not to grow, not to change will still be there. Nothing changes until something changes. So make a change in your team today. All right. Well, with all that said, and without further ado, hit the comment section. Let me know where you're tuning in from today, because we've got some phone calls to play. Here's how it works, everybody. For those of you who've been on the show before, you know how we operate. We've got 4 phone calls. We might play all 4. We might not play all 4. The point is we've got 4 phone calls. We've got a couple calls that we were really impressed by, a couple calls that we weren't so impressed by, and we are going to play these calls and coach them up live. Hit the comment section with your comments. Let us know what you think of the calls as we play them. Keep in mind, I've not heard any of these yet. I'm just like you. I come in this blind as well. I want to react live with the rest of you. Tanisha Blackburn from AirServe of Hinesville. Welcome. Glad that you're here. I hope I said that right, Tanisha. I'm going to go with Tanisha. Let me know if I'm right. And without further ado, here we go. Call number 1.
It's a great day here. This is How Can I Make You Smile?
Hi, my name is. I was hoping to schedule a service.
Of course. What kind of service
Of course.
are you looking for?
Electric heater with a heat exchanger, and my guess is that the capacitor has gone out on the exchanger again. It's been about 4 or 5 years since it went out last time. Everything else is running. I'm just not getting heat blown in, so I'm just sitting here blowing cold air into the house.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry about that. This air handler of yours, where's the look?
Wow. 34 seconds into this call, she's done 2 things that I absolutely love. Of course we can help. That was the first thing she said after the customer told her about the problem. And then I actually really love right here the use of that sucks. Empathize with the customer. Be human. Talk to them like a human being. Talk to them like they talk, like their friends would talk to them about the problem. Absolutely love that.
Located in Stein.
The exchanger's outside, the actual furnace is in the basement.
Is this a heat pump and air handler?
Oof. Oh, geez. Oof. What happened there? Let's try a different call. Static got out of hand there. Oh my gosh. What's going on with the speakers here, my friends? Ouch. Folks, we may be having some technical difficulties with the speaker. That's not good. Let's try one more call. Huh. Something is going on with my speakers, everybody. It's in the middle of that phone call, it just started breaking up, got all staticky. Let's just try something here. Well, the speaker seems to be fine. It looks like something's wrong with the phone calls.
It's a great day here.
There we go.
This is How Can I Make You Smile?
All better.
Hi.
Fine.
The exchangers outside, the actual furnace is in the basement.
Okay.
Is this a heat pump and air handler combo?
This is beyond my knowledge base.
Okay.
This is beyond my knowledge base.
Actually, I had the last time and was going to do it myself.
Customer makes a great point there. This is beyond my knowledge base. Customers, if you go into homeowner forums where customers talk about the businesses that they give their money to, you will often hear them say things like, "It really bothers me how my home service businesses, how the people I do business with, they assume I should know everything." Customers complain about this a lot in the auto shop space. If you're a mechanic that works on cars, customers feel oftentimes like the mechanic, the person who's helping them with their car, acts as if they should know everything. The mechanic acts as if the customer should be well versed in all of the language of working on a vehicle. They should know everything about their car inside and out. Of course, most customers don't. Most customers have absolutely no idea, which is why they're coming to you. So empathize with that a little bit. Let's hear how the CSR responds to that particular statement.
Well, and if I go and get the part, change it, it might not fix it. So I'd rather have a tech on site.
Okay.
I completely understand. So I do just have to ask a little bit about the existing equipment. The unit outside, does it do both heating and...
Okay, so right here, if I'm the CSR, when I say to the customer, I do have to ask a couple of questions about the equipment. Whenever you tell the customer, I have to do something, it's the equivalent of telling them our policy states. And you know what customers hate to hear? Our policy is, oh, we have to, or we can't, or we're supposed to do this. They don't want to hear what you have to do. Now, they're okay with it. This CSR has done a great job in the first minute of this call, so she'll be able to get away with that just fine. Most CSRs will not, though. If you tell the customer, I have to ask you a couple questions about the system, then they see you as less. They begin to see you as a dispensable person in the company who's getting in the way. Like, let's just get somebody out here. Let me talk to a technician. That's where their mind goes next. So instead of telling them, I have to ask you some questions about your system, tell them, all right, Mr. Jones, I've just got a couple questions about your system I want to ask you about. Is that all right? All right, a couple things I want to know. It's not I have to, it's I want to. A couple questions I want to ask you is much different than I have to ask you a couple questions. A couple questions I want to ask you implies willingness, desire to serve, curiosity on the part of the CSR. Customers like that. I have to ask some questions implies compliance, obedience, a system, a policy that's getting in the way of the customer getting a solution to their problem. Let's keep looking though.
I'm calling?
Yes, it is a fan heat exchanger.
Okay. And then the interior unit, where is that located?
That is in the basement in the crawl space.
And is that the air handler that the electric furnace?
I wouldn't say air hammer. I'm not sure what you're talking about. It is an electric furnace.
Okay. And do you know the approximate age of the equipment?
Yeah, so there's a lot of language we're using that the customer doesn't understand here. Could be a process problem. Could be if you have to ask the questions, right? If your company is forcing you to ask these very specific questions, that's okay. Again, don't say I have to. Tell the customer a couple questions I want to ask you. And also preface the questions by saying a couple questions I want to ask you about the system, about your unit. If you don't know the answers to any of these questions, that's totally okay. Just let me know. But I'm curious. And then go on with your questions. But I'm curious. I'm curious out of curiosity. If you start a question out of curiosity or I'm curious, you can basically ask anything you want. You can ask anything you want and the customer won't be bothered by it. Same goes with your teammates. There might be a question that ordinarily would bug somebody or make them feel defensive. But if you start it with out of curiosity, then you can pretty much ask anything and everybody will be okay with it. Let's keep going.
The crawl space.
Having a few technical difficulties with the calls today, folks.
Nick, have I ever been over to your home before?
I've had this issue addressed before. I'm not sure if I actually called you guys. Your guys
Okay.
is the name that came up in my mind when I thought about it, so I may have called you before. I'm not sure.
Well, I appreciate the call. What I would like to do is
Love
get
that.
a repair technician
I
out to
appreciate
your
the
home
call.
and diagnose the equipment
Love
and
that.
see what's all going on. All of our techs here are licensed, bonded, and insured, and they do travel with a stocked parts van. When is the best time that we can get a serviceman out to diagnose the equipment?
Nice job. Great value.
What is your schedule availability? I'm working from home these days, so
Okay.
you're welcome to be anywhere between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Well, let's get you all on schedule for that first available. Do you mind me asking for a last name real fast? Thank you. Is this telephone number ending in the best one to reach you at?
Yes.
Perfect. And then question for you, could I get that property address? Okay. And that's
Yes.
perfect. I'm so
I just got to say, hats off to this CSR on her confidence. The confidence is a big deal here. This CSR is going to show us that even if you don't have the perfect language, if you are confident, customers will place their trust in you. Customers will work with you if you demonstrate confidence in your ability to serve them and help them.
surely getting this into our account for you, sir. We like to email out any of the suggestions and recommendations that our technicians do find during their diagnostic appointment. Is there an email you'd like to add on file?
Sure. It's my first name underscore my last name.
Mhm.
That is
Well, you made it easy for me. What I'm doing right now is some quick routing for that first availability, since it sounds like you have a fairly open schedule. And And it does look like I have some availability here, and this was gonna be this Wednesday. It could be a 12 to 2 arrival if that's not too late in your day. That's tomorrow.
12
the
to 2
16th.
tomorrow would be great.
It's yours.
It's yours.
Like us to-
That's a great statement. It's yours. Love that. She said a couple things that I love like that. At the beginning of the call, she said, "Of course we can help." After he explained the problem, she said, "That sucks." Love that too. And then here he's saying, "That'd be great." And she responds, "It's yours." Like, yes, there's enthusiasm, there's confidence, there is soul to this phone call. Last week, we kept throwing this phrase around during the show, more than a transaction. Your phone calls have to be more than a transaction. I've said this a million times and I'm going to say it again. Customers don't have to call you. They could book online if they wanted to. They could talk to a chat bot. They could fill out a form. They don't have to talk to you, but they choose to anyway because they want the experience of somebody caring about their problem. They want someone to take ownership and wow them. It has to be more than just a transaction where you collect information, get them on the schedule, and send somebody out there. This CSR is doing a fantastic job on this phone call. We're 3 minutes and 52 seconds in of treating it like more than a transaction. Absolutely love that.
Paul, when we're on our way out.
Yes, or text will work. This is a cell phone.
Perfect. So you're going to get a quick dispatch text message from our customer service line. That's automated, so we won't be able to respond back. But our dispatch team, they're going to reach out to you with that ETA in regards to the technician's arrival. So they'll call you directly. If you do not answer, that's okay. They'll leave a voice message. And it will only be $169 for our time travel and diagnostic for tomorrow's service.
It will only be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling.
Charles, don't think I forgot about your t-shirts yet. I was saving that for the end. This is a great call. This is a good phone call. Love this one so far. All right. Let's look at another call.
Thank you for calling. How can I help out today?
My name is, and I need to have my central air conditioner service.
Okay, yes, and is there what's going on with the central air system?
Okay, well, we did turn it on, and we think that there was a snake, a garden snake that got caught in the air conditioner. So it started making noises, and my son turned it off, of course. So,
Oh no, not again. Not again with the audio. What's happening here today? Everybody, I apologize deeply for the audio problems today. I'm not sure what's going on with the speaker. Yeesh. Let's just give it a second to snap out of it. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to get fixed, sorry everybody, I don't know what's going on with that today. We have an awesome comment from Charles here. Charles says, I'll take an XL t-shirt. There was a promise I made last week that everybody who showed up to today's show was getting a free t-shirt, courtesy of Power Selling Pros. A t-shirt that says more than a transaction on it. The reason we didn't advertise it prior to this show is because we wanted to see how many people from last week would show up, number one. And number two, we're actually working on a really cool setup with that deal. We're going to get some sponsors on here to essentially, when shows get sponsors, the show profits, right? Hey, look, thank you to this person for supporting the show. And then the company takes the money. We're setting up some interesting relationships right now where the people who sponsor this call may be recorded. Every dime of the sponsorship will be used to give the attendees something who show up. So first things first, hopefully my audio is going to get fixed here in a second. It seems like I just need to give it a moment. And then it will work again. Maybe not. Here's what I want you to do. If you're on the show live today, I want you to send an email to Zachary@PowerSellingPros.com, ZACHARY at PowerSellingPros.com with your address and your t-shirt size. We're going to send everybody on the show a t-shirt today. I only have one ask, though, from all of you. When you get your shirt, please take a picture and send it over. Helps us promote the show, helps us get more people here, helps us do more cool stuff for all of you. So send an email to Zachary@PowerSellingPros.com with your address and t-shirt size, and we'll get a t-shirt that says more than a transaction sent over to you in the next couple of weeks. Please be patient with shipping. So some fun stuff there. Make sure you hop on the show every week as well, because we're going to be doing more fun stuff like that, assuming my audio can start working again. Something is going on with the speakers on the computer today. Not sure what the problem is. So I'm going to end with this, everybody. Really apologize for that. Appreciate your patience with the audio problems today. But let me wrap up with another little rant for you. I mentioned at the beginning of the call that you shouldn't wait. You shouldn't put off the opportunity to train your team. It's not cool. It doesn't help you. Nothing's going to change unless you make a change. And so don't put it off. But there's something else I want to say. If you're ready to make a change, if you're ready to do something, often companies wonder, where should we start? Where should we begin when it comes to training our call handling team, our CSRs and dispatchers? What's the first thing we should do? And the first thing you should do is simple. You should start from the inside and work your way out. What I mean is most companies start from the outside. They define the result that they want. We want to book 90% of our calls. So that's what we're going to optimize our training for. And then they implement systems meant to get them to 90%. And that's all fine and good. But here's the thing. If you train based on an outcome that you want, but don't achieve the outcome, like let's say your team works extremely hard, you're proud of the effort, you're proud of the growth, but they just simply don't hit the number. Does that mean the whole thing was a wasted effort, was a failure? Some sticklers might say, yes, absolutely. It's all about the numbers. The numbers don't lie. I say, well, this isn't for you then. Because if all you focus on is the numbers and your people fail to hit them, guess what happens to the morale in your company? Just like that. It's gone, destroyed. So you shouldn't start with what outcome you want to have happen. You should start with, how do we want the people to see themselves? What identity do we want? What character do we want to infuse our call center with? This is where you should start. You shouldn't start with, all right, everybody, our goal is to book 90% of our calls. Here's how we're going to do it. That doesn't inspire anyone. Nobody cares. Because when you hit 90%, then what? What's going to get your team excited at that point? Nothing. You have to start with an identity. You have to sit down with your team, and the first thing you have to start with is, everybody, I want you to know how important your job is here. I want you to see yourself as the first impression the customers get of our business. I want you to see yourselves as more than just CSRs, as more than just call takers. I want you to see yourself as the only person at this company that our customers want to talk to. I want you to see yourself as the person responsible for creating a wow experience for every single customer. That's your job. That's what we do here. Essentially what you're doing is you're communicating the bigger picture, the why to training. And that is to turn them into the kind of people that create the first impression this company deserves. The kind of people that take care of customers. That's a lot more inspiring than we're going to book 90% of our calls. And then you say, once you've established that identity that you want your team to adopt, then you go to the systems. And here's how we're going to do it, everybody. We're going to train every week. We're going to listen to our calls. We're going to focus on empathizing in our phone calls. We're going to focus on listening. And as a result of doing all this, we're going to try to book 90% of our calls. We're going to try to wow every customer. And then you set the goals, but the goals should flow from a sense of identity. For example, there's a great fitness trainer. Her name is Erica Peterson. And she said something that I absolutely loved. She did a before and after picture of her fitness journey, before when she was starting to get in shape and after. And the number on the scale was the same in both pictures. But the appearance was dramatically different. Because before she felt like she was out of shape. She didn't have very much function or movement. But after, she looked alive. She looked fit and happy and confident. And she said, in both these pictures, the crazy thing is the number on the scale is exactly the same. I weigh the same now as I did then. The difference is I'm more muscular, I'm more toned, I'm more happy, healthy. I am a healthy person. So there was an identity shift. There wasn't just a change in the number of pounds on the scale. There was an actual change in the way she saw herself. The same thing needs to happen with your CSRs. It's not enough just to show a higher conversion rate. That doesn't inspire your people. No wonder they leave in droves. It's because all they're being held accountable to is a number. Nobody wants to be accountable to a number. We want to be accountable to people. We want to be accountable to progress, to a sense of purpose. So you've got to give your team a sense of purpose first, an identity to aspire to, and then from there, you can set goals and build systems that help to enhance that identity. I am a healthy person. I am a customer experience master. I am the first impression of this business. And then from there, I also happen to book 90% of my calls. All right, everybody. Thank you again for your patience today. We're going to work on getting the audio fixed here so that we can play more calls next week for you. Next week is episode 20 of This Call May Be Recorded. And if you're here live right now, make sure that you email Zachary@powerslingpros.com with your shirt size and address. We're going to be sending shirts out in the next couple of weeks to all those people. If you're watching the recording of this, sorry, but you have to be here live. So if you send me an email after the next hour, which is 11:30 Mountain Time to 12:30 Mountain Time on Friday the 13th, you won't be getting a shirt. But if you are here live, send me an email right now. We'll send something over to you. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, for episode 20 of This Call May Be Recorded. We will see you then.